This is the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast, daily intelligence for serious e-commerce portfolio builders across Amazon, TikTok Shop, Shopify, Walmart, and every channel that moves the needle. Neil Twa and his Voltage team all day, every day since 2012. Let's get into it.
Quick question before we get into it. If the operators pulling ahead right now are using AI to launch products faster, cheaper, and with better margins than you, what exactly are you waiting for? Surprise! The answer is probably the right moment. And that moment already passed. It's Tuesday, June 16th. Welcome back, folks. On behalf of myself and the entire team at Voltage, we are genuinely glad you're here for episode 298 of the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast. Now, lock it in. Here's the reality. AI is not a tool you sprinkle on top of a struggling process. It is the process. And the operators who figured that out are not working harder. They deployed it properly. Today I'm going to show you what that actually looks like, what the MCP stack does, and why more confusion and more random tools is exactly the wrong direction. Look, AI for Amazon sellers has become one of the most overcomplicated conversations in this space. And that is saying something, because this industry loves to overcomplicate things. Here is what I see constantly. Operators buying tool after tool, 5 subscriptions, 3 browser extensions, a spreadsheet that talks to some API they half set up 6 months ago, and none of it connects, none of it compounds. It just burns time, money, and attention. Yeah, because stacking disconnected tools always fixes a broken launch process. Here's the thing most people miss. AI does not make a broken foundation faster. It makes it break faster, at scale. If your product research is guesswork, if your listing is written around keywords instead of buyers, if your launch sequence is still send some PPC and hope, then adding AI to that is not a solution. It is an accelerant on a fire you did not mean to start. What the operators pulling ahead in 2026 figured out is this. You do not need more AI tools. You need one coherent system. One stack that runs connected, with each layer feeding the next. That is what an MCP stack does. Model Context Protocol. It is not a product. It's an architecture. It means your research informs your listing informs your launch informs your ad structure, and your data feeds back into the next decision automatically. I have been running e-commerce operations since 2012. I left corporate in 2007, and I have seen every wave of this changes everything come through this industry. Most of them were noise. This one is not. The operators doing $50,000 to $500,000 a month who have a proper AI architecture underneath their launch process are out-executing teams twice their size, not because they are smarter, because they stopped doing manually what a system can do better. The implication is simple. If you do not have this built, you are competing against people who do. That gap is widening every quarter. Let me tell you about a situation I watched play out earlier this year. An operator, solid business, doing somewhere in the range of $30,000 to $60,000 a month, comes into our world and says his launches keep stalling. New SKU hits, gets some early traction, then flatlines around week 3. He could not figure out why. We looked at his process. Product research was manual, took him about 2 weeks per SKU. His listing was written by a freelancer who was good but slow, and the brief going to that freelancer was basically, here are my keywords, make it sound good. His launch sequence was PPC heavy from day one with no real sequencing logic. And his data review happened whenever he had time, which meant it happened late. Now here is the thing. None of those steps were bad on their own. The problem was they did not talk to each other. The research insights were not feeding the listing. The listing was not informing the ad structure. The data was coming in too late to adjust anything in the critical first 14 to 21 days. And that matters, because if you know the Amazon IDQ score concept, you know that first window is not the time to be guessing. The algorithm is forming its opinion of your product. You want every signal clean and intentional. We helped him wire up a proper MCP architecture. Research feeds brief. Brief feeds listing. Listing feeds launch sequence. Launch sequence feeds ad logic. Data closes the loop in near real time. His next launch hit 60 units a day by day 18. Organic velocity kicked in by week 4. Same operator, different architecture. That is not a miracle. That is what happens when the system stops being a collection of disconnected steps and starts being one connected process. The AI is not doing the thinking. It is making sure the thinking you already did actually gets executed consistently at speed every single time.
Are you AI ready in your business? AI only multiplies the foundation you've already built. Don't 10x garbage into your business. 10x your profit. Score your gaps in 60 seconds. Find out how ready you are. Visit voltagedm.com/AI quiz and take the free readiness quiz. And now, back to the podcast.
3 moves. These work whether you are doing $5,000 a month or $500,000 a month. Move 1. Audit your launch process before you touch any AI tool. Write down every step from product idea to live listing to first 30 days of ads. Be honest. Where does information get lost? Where do you make decisions based on gut instead of data? Where does the process stall because it depends on you personally? That map is your foundation. AI built on a foggy process is just expensive fog. I know this is not the exciting part. It is also where most operators skip straight past it and wonder why their AI strategy is not working. Move 2. Stop buying tools. Start buying architecture. One coherent MCP stack that connects research, listing, launch, and feedback that is worth more than 10 individual subscriptions that do not talk to each other. Seriously, I have talked to operators paying $800 a month in AI tool subscriptions who could not tell me how any of those tools fed the next step. That is not a system. That is a collection of expensive buttons. Find one stack, learn it deeply, let it compound. Move 3. Protect your first 21 days like they are the only thing that matters, because they basically are. Once you have your AI architecture running, the launch window is where it pays off. Clean signals, consistent execution. No panic pivots on day 4 because your PPC is not profitable yet. The system needs to run the sequence. Your job in that window is to not break it. Most operators cannot help themselves. They start adjusting too early, too often, and they corrupt the very data the algorithm is trying to use to rank them. Build the foundation, wire the system, then get out of its way. Here is where I want to leave you today. The operators who are winning right now did not win because they found a new hack or a secret tool. They won because they stopped treating AI like a feature and started treating it like infrastructure. One connected system, built on a real foundation, running the process so they can run the business. That is exactly what the Voltage MCP stack is. It is the same architecture we run internally and with our community, not a course, not a theory, an actual operating system for product launches, built by operators who have been doing this since 2012 and have tracked over $100,000 in sales across brands we have built and advised. Now, before you go any further, I want you to do one thing. Take the free AI Readiness quiz at voltagedm.com/AI quiz. It is 5 questions, takes about 60 seconds, and it tells you exactly where your foundation stands before you try to build AI on top of it. Finish the quiz and it unlocks the 10x Operator Blueprint, a $27 value, free. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you're trying to figure out where AI actually fits in your business and where to invest before bolting it on top, head over to voltagedm.com/AI quiz. 5 questions, 60 seconds, a personalized AI readiness score, and an instant foundation gap report. Built for operators, not AI tourists. We'll be back tomorrow with another edge. Until then, stay high voltage.